I'm Roberto Gualtieri, the mayor of Rome. We are on the Capitol Hill at the Tabularium, ancient Rome public archives, on top of which the office of the mayor is located. I'm thrilled to be able to present Rome's nomination for such an inspiring event as the World Expo. It's a great opportunity for our city to once again prove its ability to drive change. Urban transformation is increasingly viewed as a game changer, and Rome is ready to play its part. Our cities harness an extraordinary potential waiting to be unleashed to transform our model of development into a more equitable and sustainable one. The separation between working districts and living quarters is a trend of the past. The new frontier of urban development is a city made up of neighborhoods, each with equal dignity and services, and where no one is left behind. A city where people can use their time appropriately and have a say in life-changing planning decisions. Our project for Rome Expo 2030 will establish a new way of promoting urban coexistence. Rome is the right place to discuss these issues because culture, nature, and innovation are part of our identity. We are home to world-famous urban planners and architects. We are Europe's greenest city, a place where city and countryside have found ways to coexist and can thus help shape the cities of the future. We host universities and research centers at the cutting edge of innovation. We are a cosmopolitan and inclusive city. Over the course of our 3,000-year history, we have reinvented ourselves countless times. We have the marvels of the past at our fingertips. But now, we mean to show ways of dealing with the great challenges of the future. We can't wait to see you all in Rome.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here today from the Italian Pavilion, the 105th celebration of world exhibitions. For the first time in an Arabic country, 192 countries here connected under one unique message, connecting minds to make the future, I would love to add, together. And today we are going to celebrate a very important week. We started already in 2015 in Italy, starting talking about the connection between people, planet, and prosperity, because we were talking about connecting energy, feeding, planet. And so today I want to welcome you, and we're going to talk about the future of food, innovation, and agriculture. And I'm very honored to give the floor for the welcome remarks to the director of the Italian Pavilion, Andrea Marini. Please.
Buongiorno a tutti, signor Ministro.
Welcome everyone, Ambassador, guest. On behalf of the General Commissioner, I would like to greet you all. We are very happy to have organized this week of food and agriculture. This meeting we have at the center international debate on sustainable agribusiness and the capacity of innovation in agriculture in the Mediterranean area. I would like to thank the Italian Minister of Agricultural, Food and Forestry Policy, Mr. Patuanelli, for having organized this important event. I would like also to thank all our partners, all our guests from the UAE and Israel that will allow us to confront ourselves on different themes, for example, the innovation in agriculture, and also sustainable food. This is one of the main challenges we have to address altogether. In a world where anybody can be saved alone, we'll be happy to discover again what we wrote in the team statement 4 years ago, what we wanted to stress about the Italian experience here at Expo. We wanted to stress the Italian system, the supply chains, the SMEs, the Center of Research. This was one of the main themes of our discussion. And here we are exploring it again because this theme is very actual. So I would like now to valorize and to address the main themes of the best practices of innovation in Italy in partnership with other countries in the Mediterranean region. For example, how to manage natural resources, sustainability and precision farming, circular economy, in an environment where desertification is one of the main issues that we have to address altogether, one of the main challenges of our times. Together with all our partners at our Center of Research, we would like to showcase what are our innovations in terms of agriculture. All these innovations are driven by the young generations. We passed from an agriculture, we discussed it yesterday with the minister, where our grandfathers, our fathers, they used Fibonacci system. They didn't know why, but they use it. Today in our agriculture we use sensors, we use artificial intelligence. A lot of youngs, they study at university and then they come back to their own home country and they explore the agricultural sector because it's a new perspective for the innovation, and gives a lot of possibility to survive to the different ecosystems. This model we'd like to apply, we'd like to present today. It exists in our pavilion, you can see it in our garden. Thanks to the participation of CNR, we have different sensors, and this allows us to control our plants. We have a system of microalgae, and we show it every day to the million of visitors that they come here at Italian Pavilion. We just celebrated 1 million visitors here in this pavilion, and this innovation exists, and we are very glad that we can put it into practice. This today is an important event that can be a platform of sharing of different ideas with our partners, a platform to create new partnership in order to strengthen our food sector in the MENA region. I would like to give the warm welcome to all our guests, and I hope this theme will be addressed with a very good result in a short term. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Director Marin. And now I'm very honored to invite on stage for the opening remarks His Excellency, our Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Stefano Patuanelli.
Buongiorno a tutti e benvenuti al...
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Italian Pavilion. It's a big honor to be here. I would like to greet all the authorities that are present today. I would like to thank the ambassador, the consul, and Ambassador Glisenti, Director Marine. I would like to thank all the partners of CREA, of CNRF. I would like to thank Director Beccari for his own contribution to the research in terms of innovation. The answer that we have to answer, I think, in the next years, it's very simple and banal. How we can guarantee an access to food in a safe way to our planet's inhabitants, 10 million. This is an answer that we have to give, and we have to ask ourselves the way that we'll be doing. How can it impact less and less in our territory, the territory where we produce our food? This is the biggest challenge. And I think that in moments like this, where we address different experiences, where we address different skills, and where we put together different ideas, this is the nicest way to find a solution for these questions. Expo 2020 is the biggest event after the pandemic, arrives in the right moment. It arrives in a moment where we can change the path in order to find a way that can change our way towards climate change. We have to combat it now. We cannot wait furthermore, and this can allow us also to think about food in all over the world. Our country has some water supply issues in a lot of zones in our country, and so the experience of other countries where they have issues of desertification can be useful for us to understand how we can produce food in extreme situations. What is the risk and what are the opportunities? The risk is this dynamic will bring us to see the answer in the production of food in labs that will be artificial, that will be the same for everyone. The European strategy that has a global valor, One Health, cannot be seen as the one diet policy. So we have to use the same mean for the agricultural production, and the food should be a link to the culture, to the religion of each country. And this cannot be lost. What can we do in order to prevent that food will be just a pill that we take every day? We have to use innovation and technology in the right way. Technology should help us to reach the objective and should not dominate it. We should use less natural resources to produce a larger quantity of food. The technology can help us to prevent us to use less water, less petrol. That is an important resource for all the countries. Technology can allow us to use less fertilizers, less additives, less chemical products. And this is the technology that I have to develop. This is the technology that we have to share with all the countries. I was honored to be at the ministry conference in Florence of the G20. This was dedicated to the food and agriculture issues of the planet. I really saw the willingness of all the government of the G20 to implement new policies of agricultural themes that can assist us in this path towards innovation and of the regeneration of the agricultural sector. And I think farmers are one of the entrepreneurs that are more traditional in our country. They said we should share our ideas and we should find a solution to this question, how we can produce food by respecting the planet for 10 million people. Thank you very much.
Minister Patuanelli, how might we are going to feed 10 billion people in a sustainable way? Designing and co-designing inclusive and sustainable food systems. This is going to be the big question we are going to try to answer today, but actually this is going to be a journey, because we are going to have almost 30 voices of best practice, scientists, policymakers, experts coming from different parts of the world, highlighting Italian technologies and knowledge, UAE expertise, but I would love to say the enlarged Mediterranean knowledge related to, let's say, the empowerment of the agri-food system. So I want to start this morning, say, we're going to be fast, but with tons of insightful learnings to bring back in our home. And I want to start with the first panel with some friends that are going to share different perspective. I want to start from my friend, Paul Newnham, the director of the SDG2 Advocacy Hub. He has been working hard this week. I know you were very busy. And then Stefano Vaccari, please, the director of the Council for Research in Italy, and then Angelo Riccaboni, president of Prima. We're going to talk about Mediterranean a lot. And then Dr. Fass, Director General of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development from Israel. And then we have connected the CEO from Olivetti, Quang Ngo Dinh. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
And then the Vice Dean of the UAE University and Director of the Department of Agriculture, Dr. 𝗣𝗲𝗍𝗍. And last but not least, Dr. Mahmoudi from 𝗣𝗍𝗲𝗏. We have been talking a lot about the epicenter of all the conversations related to food. We started in October with Ambassador Leonard was here. We were talking about food and innovation all the way through the end of Expo, because we strongly believe that food is at the epicenter. Minister Patuanelli was saying food is identity, is traditions, yes, but food is also, say, the connection, the nexus between what we need to take care of the planet and to take care of the health of the planet, not only from the natural perspective, but thinking about the One Health concept. I want to start from you, Paul, because you have a pretty broad perspective, and we know that digital transformation and digitalization is going to be a strong supporter for this transformation. So I want to learn from you, because you are empowering chefs all over the world. We are spreading around the world the good food for all message. How do you see this transformation going? How do you think we're going to make it by 2030? Because the 2030 agenda is there.
Yeah, thank you, and it's so great to be here. I think really, as we were watching in the introductions, and I think the Mayor of Rome said that this transformation needs to be one that leaves no one behind. And I think every government of the world has signed on to the Sustainable Development Goals, which have this ambitious plan to address these issues. And I think technology, digitization, and innovation in agriculture and our food systems is how we speed up. It's how we accelerate. It helps us in transparency through our supply chains, which is critical for us to understand. Data is also very important. If you can understand where things are coming from, what's happening, what are the inputs, what are the outputs, it's incredibly important. I also think this is really critical for us to coordinate across sectors. I think in the past, we've worked in isolation sometimes from each other, where maybe different departments have had challenges connecting with others because they've been working very deep. I think with COVID, one of the things that the world has seen is that very quickly we have to join the dots. We have to see that collaboration come together. We need to see how agriculture connects to health, how it connects into education. All of these elements start to connect together, and this is really important. I think also you mentioned chefs. I think chefs are an interesting connector. I was in a farm in the middle of the desert here in the UAE just on a couple of days ago with a group of chefs and a group of farmers. And there was a conversation happening about the connection, the challenges that were happening around getting produce into market, about price, around different elements around climate, around how much water is being used, about what's being eaten, how we prefer food. I think this conversation is really critical, and I think that what we can use is some of our digitization to help spread the word on this, to get that out. I also think in our climate adaptation, at the moment, there's a big focus on climate adaptation, but there's a big opportunity as well. Less than 2% of current adaptation funding goes to agriculture. We need to be doing more. Food is so critical, our agriculture is so critical in terms of the future of our world. And so we need to be doing more on a changing planet to ensure that that food is still able to be produced and that the people producing it are able to make a living and to be able to continue to thrive.
Thank you so much, Paul. Actually, I want to ask you one more thing. We have been involved a lot also inside the UN Food System Summit. You know, Italy has been hosting the pre-summit. We care so much about that. There's been the Food Coalition where our country was playing a critical role. How do you see that those events, like what was happening this year, can really foster collaboration? Because I think that now SDG 17 is the most important one. We need to learn how to collaborate. And I'm pretty fascinated because today we're going to connect from farm to fork. We're going to see experiences and innovation really from farm to fork. And we need to take care of every ring of the chain because logistics, for example, is critical. Agriculture is critical. Chefs and how chefs can become advocates for that. How do you see those events speeding up? Are you positive? Do you think we can make it?
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you to Italy for playing such a leadership role in the UN Food System Summit. This was a game-changing summit in terms of seeing the system that creates food, bringing all the elements together, thinking from transport through to water, through to education, all the elements around food systems. And the convening that Italy played in bringing people together in Rome, I was lucky to be there, in the heart of food in so many ways. We were able to really come together and have robust discussions. And what I would say is that this is slingshotted forward the agenda of food systems. Even beyond the Ministry of Agriculture into the Ministry of Education, we have different environment, you know, the environment, UN Environment Program now talking, UNICEF. We have all these different programs outside of the traditional home of agriculture and food, now thinking about the power of food systems to make that transformation. And I think the power, it comes from both where we grow that food and then the plate, where we choose and how people engage with that food. And I think finding sustainable plates that can then continue to help us address our climate, COVID, and some of the other big challenges that we face is really critical.
Thank you so much. I took advantage of you, but you are representing UN today.
Thank you.
And now, I want to say, pass the mic, or you have the mic, to Director 𝗣𝗲𝗍𝗃, the co-organizers of this event, because the Council for Research and Agriculture today, together with the Ministry of Agriculture, are supporting the organization of this event. And now we're going to... We know. I know that the presentation is coming.
From here?
Absolutely. If you want to go to the podium...
I need to...
Yes, it's there. And now we're going to start talking about agriculture, innovation coming from the National Council of Research and Agriculture. I think it's...
Thank you. If you can start the presentation. Okay, thank you very much. I'm Stefano 𝗣𝗲𝗍𝗃. I'm the Director General of CREA, Council of Agricultural Research and Economics. CREA is the largest Italian research body in agricultural sector, directly controlled by the Ministry of Agriculture. CREA employs more than 2,400 people, 81% researchers, 71 operational offices, 41 laboratories, 5,000 hectares for experimentation. They are not large by Emirates standards, but CREA is the second largest land owner in Italy. We carry out about 800 research projects every year in every sector of agriculture: genomic, agricultural engineering, modeling, forests, crops and livestock, economics and human nutrition. CREA has operated cooperation with dozens of countries on every continent. Today we present the result of 3 innovative research projects in the panel Best Practices for Innovation in Agriculture. The first best practice, called I Guess MED, refers to innovative greenhouse support system in the Mediterranean region, efficient fertigation and pest management through IoT-based climate control. Its value is the application of the IoT in greenhouse with strong and feasible effects on sustainability and competitiveness. The second is SIMAGRI. It reproduces the functionality of a tractor complete with some operative machine. The third, regarding circular economy, is biochar, a natural coal obtained through a pyrolysis process from crop residues, in this case from palm pruning in the desert agrosystems. Into the panel Traditional Diets as a driver of sustainable development and tourism, CREA will show the value added of the integration between tradition and innovation in the rural areas. We present 3 experiences from north to south Italy in designing new patterns of development which combine high-value local agro-food product, heritage, landscape and tourism. I would like to remember that Italian farms are the most diversified in Europe as activities. The Italian agriculture is the model for rural development area, the model in Europe and probably the model in the world. CREA hopes that this pillow of results from our research will attract your attention and foster new and lasting partnership between Italy and the United Arab Emirates. Thank you so much, and thank you for the Minister, and thank you for United Arab Emirates. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Director 𝗣𝗲chị. And now, with Professor Riccaboni, we're going to start to rock and roll around Mediterranean. I love to say that Mediterranean has been the first internet in the planet. Mediterranean connects people. And so you, with PRIMA, that is the European initiative fostering research and innovation in agriculture, caring about resources, you are doing that. And we know that this is a very critical time for the entire planet. We know that we are in between the national plan for the restart, resilience, and so on. We know how much we are working on that, but we also know that we need to count on Mediterranean collaboration. And from you, I'm going to start because we are going to hear other voices from the Mediterranean. Please, I would love you to share what we are doing, what is PRIMA, which are the power that we can unleash now.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And thanks to the Commissioner, Paolo Bisenti, for inviting me to this conference. As you said, the Mediterranean is a very important area. And as Minister Patuanelli said before, we have very difficult challenges in front of us in terms of climate change, inefficient use of resources, unsustainable agricultural practices, food security, malnutrition, obesity. And especially in the Mediterranean, we are severely hit by that, in the enlarged Mediterranean, I would say. And each country has not the power, resources to make it. So we need to work together. We need to build bridges. We need to put together resources, funds, laboratories, solutions For this reason, the European Commission, together with 19 countries, started PRIMA. So PRIMA stands for Partnership for Research and Innovation in the Mediterranean Area, and we started in 2017, so only a few years ago, with a budget of €500 million, given half by the Commission and half by 19 countries. I'm very pleased to say that these countries are both from the north of the Mediterranean, but also from the south. 11 from Europe and 8 are not European countries. I refer to Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, Israel, Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey. So really, it is a Euro-Mediterranean program. And it is based upon the principle of equal footing. That is extremely important. Equal footing means that each country is giving money, but also each country, all the countries put money. That is very important, because when you put money, you are motivated. You want to see results. And also, we co-govern it. I am the chair. I'm honored to be the chair of the foundation, implementing the program, but I have a co-chair from Egypt. And also, within the secretariat, hosted in Barcelona, we have half of the staff from the north and half from the south. And also the results for our research and innovation projects is very interesting, because 35% of money and 35% of researchers involved in PRIMA come from the south. That is very, very important. Just a few numbers. To me, the most important number is 1,600 is the number of research units working together under the same research innovation agenda. It's a lot. I mean, 1,600 research innovation units means around 60,000 people working together on 4 major topics, which are sustainable farming, efficient use of water, food as a lever of change, and maybe the most important one, the nexus between water, energy, food, and ecosystems. So after only a few years, I'm very proud to say that PRIMA has become a success story. It's considered a benchmark by the European Commission, and we are very pleased of that. So now what we are doing, these people are working on 168 projects. 168 projects we have funded so far, and we are at the middle of the program, so we will fund many more, with 220 million euros. The budget is €500 million, as I said before. So it's the most ambitious research and innovation project ever launched in the Mediterranean. Let me say which are the 7 areas for innovation. The first one is new machine and new equipment, like desalination, wastewater treatment. The second one is DSS, decision support systems. The third is new varieties of legumes, cereals, trees, in order to deal with water scarcity. Fourth is changes in agricultural practices. Fifth, new agri-food products from byproducts or bioactive compounds. Sixth, business models, new business models, the use of blockchain, but also new measurements. As Minister Patuanelli was saying, it is very important how we measure, which is the nutrition part of our products. We don't want one diet. We want differences in the Mediterranean. We like to be connected to the local context, and we are working on that. But also we want to measure differently, which is the impact of food on the environment. There's also a wide debate on how to measure the impact of food on our environment. And the seventh is social innovation. We need also to change in terms of guidelines, policy briefs, and good practices for policymakers. So these are the 7 areas we are working on. So now we have arrived at a very important stage. The next stage will be to bring these results to communities and enterprises. Because at the end of the story, we need to support farmers. We need to support small, medium-sized enterprises, which are the heart of Euro-Mediterranean agriculture. So we need to make them more profitable. That is the key part of the story. We need to make farmers more profitable. So now we are at a very important step. We are launching the second part of the program, and what is really part of our story, our proudness, is that we are building bridges. We need working together. Only together we can deal with the challenges in front of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I would love to add, at the national and international level, because you are playing a critical role also in the national recovery and resilience plan, leading one of the spoke of the Agri-Tech hub. And so I know how much you are connecting both our farmers, our agricultural system, together with the Mediterranean one. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
Can I spend one word just to say that
of course,
it's very important
no.
what you mentioned, that Italy is working very hard on innovation in agriculture. CREA is a very important research center. We are working with them, with other research centers, both at the European and Mediterranean level, but also at the national level for, as you said, the national plan for resilience and recovery. So there are many initiatives. I'm involved in the one on agri-tech, and we are very pleased to open the doors also to other countries in order to work together on these issues. Thanks, Sarah, for reminding that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now, let's go on around the Mediterranean, and I want to hear the voice of a policy leader, a policy maker, because we know how much Israel has been always threatened by climate change. But we are always very inspired by Israeli farmers. How might you do it? Israeli farmers, of course, are dealing with issues related to resources and water, but we see tons of innovation coming from your country. So which are the policies you are implementing to foster this acceleration?
First of all, good morning. Thank you for having me. I hear a lot of inspiring words from you guys and all over the Expo. And the beautiful thing about countries talking and collaborating is that great things happen because we are all people. We all have the same needs. We want to feed the world. But Israel is tiny. Israel is very, very, very tiny. We make a lot of noise because we're Israelis, but it's a small country. And the amazing thing about Israel is, I think, is using the disadvantages as an advantage. Being inspired by the smallness of Israel and collaborating in the country, and I think managing the ecosystem, because as we know, innovation is not technology, and this is my main message. Innovation is thinking out of the box, thinking differently. Use your disadvantage as an advantage. You spoke about in the movie, you said ancient cultures need to invent themselves over and over again. I think you have it, and we have it. And we need to invent ourselves over and over again. And what we do in Israel is manage the ecosystem. Israel is so small that you can drive all over Israel in like 6 or 7 hours, all over, from the desert up north to the snow. And being so small allows you to speak all the time, meet all the time, and cooperate all the time. So when government interferes in managing the ecosystem, it helps the farmer, meets the startup, meet the government and speak to it, speak to us directly. We didn't speak about regulations that helps innovation, which is different than regulation as we know it. And of course, research and researchers and private sector and money in the private sector. And what we try to do is meet all the time and speak all the time and use Israel as a huge hub for startups. And as a government, we are going to put hundreds of millions of shekels. Shekel is around €0.25, but we are putting a lot of money in allowing startup to be with the farmer in the field and try its innovation or its new invention. And it's all over the chain, from the seed to the harvest, all the way, because Israel is dealing with climate change for years. I spoke yesterday at the ministry's meeting. We have an advantage of years of dealing with different climates. We're half desert, and we still have a lot of variety of fruits and vegetables. And we are here because we want to share the knowledge. We will export maybe oranges, avocado, maybe dates, but we cannot feed the world. We can feed with innovation, we can feed with information, we can feed with collaboration. And that's why we're here for, and I hope to share with you all, with our people.
Thank you so much. So Dr. 𝗣𝗲𝗲, she's the director of the Ministry of Agriculture and Israeli. Sorry, I didn't introduce you properly before. So thank you so much. I love that you mentioned industry and the role also of the private sector. Of course, in Israel there is a very vibrant startup ecosystem, but I now would love to hear the voice of the industry and of the private sector, because we have here the CEO of Olivetti. So I would love to ask to Dr. Quang Ngo Dinh, what's the role of this innovation coming and transforming the agri-food sector? How do you see this evolution transforming the agri-food sector? Because, of course, we come from a country, Italy, that has very traditional farmers, but there's, I think, a strong will to transform this sector. We see tons of young scientists in agriculture, and we see this transformation happening. How your company is playing a critical role in this transformation?
Okay, thank you. Good morning to everyone again. So we all know that smart agriculture and technology in general can improve product quality and quantity, and also improving significantly the efficiency. But what is smart agriculture? There's a number of use cases, a kind of a buzzword. So it's very difficult to say what is smart agriculture and how technology can help us. I would like just to highlight a couple of them, a couple of these use cases. One is the, let me say, data-driven agriculture. Also, Mr. Newman, if I am not wrong, highlighted this opportunity to use data. And what are the technology challenges for a farmer, let me say a kind of traditional Italian farmer, to start having data and using data for the cultivation? The first challenge is how to gather data, because data are not already there. We have to digitize the cultivation plant. And it is possible to use a number of sensor, like to measure like air quality, sun irradiation level, earth humidity, weather condition like temperature, wind, and so on. And also to use high technology equipment like flying drones with AI-powered cameras to continuously check what's happening on field. Just to use an example, to count a real-time number of dangerous insects that are threatening the cultivation without using a human on a big tractor going around in the field. And then we can also use even satellite images in certain specific use cases. So the first challenge is to deploy all this stuff to gather data together. The second technology challenge is to orchestrate all this data, to put all this data together in order to be manageable. And this is a technology issue. And finally, once we have all the data in one spot, we have to extract insight from them. Because in technology, too many data very often equals to no data. So again, artificial intelligence can help us to create order between this big amount of data and extract insights. This will give to our Italian traditional farmer the possibility to raise his efficiency in making the food production. So less water consumption, less use of pesticides, less use of tractors or other chemicals, not only pesticides. And so data-driven agriculture can have a huge impact in rising the efficiency of production. And And another area of technology, of smart agriculture, is the possibility to offer complete traceability of the whole supply chain. For instance, using blockchain technology. That's very important because it can give the consumer the full awareness and control of what he or she puts on the table, and giving him or her the power to choose. It's a huge incentive to hold the chain to improve the quality and also to preserve the integrity of the local cultivations. So the Olivetti role, as well as other technology industry, Olivetti is one of the leading players in this kind of technology, is to help big corporates, but also small businesses like the Italian farmer, to go through this digital journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now I would love to introduce our friends from UAE, because here we are. And this expo is celebrating what all the speakers before you are saying, the need of sustainability in the food industry, and we need really to find this nexus and the solution. And first of all, I would love to ask to the Vice Dean of the UAE University, 𝗣𝗲𝗍𝗍𝗫, to tell us, what are you doing to fighting climate change? Because this is the big issue. Climate change is probably one of the biggest issues we are going to face. And we know that food is the starting point. Food and the food industry are the starting point, and everyone can act on that.
First of all, Sarah, thank you. And thank Italian Pavilion to have us today. What UAE done in the last 40 or 45 years in the climate and in the food and agriculture is a lot. So when the founder of the country established the College of Food and Agriculture in 1981. And the country is not like Israel, half desert, we are completely desert. So that's a challenge, and they look at it as an opportunity to do like kind of how to play with the hidden treasure in the desert, because there is a lot of opportunity in the desert ecosystem or in semi-arid land. There's a lot of resources available underground, but also in the surface. We have a lot of native plant, more than 155 native plant, a lot of essential oil. Maybe there will be a cure for the future problem. So we look at our around, what the things is relevant to UAE and to the region. We think also outside the box, and we have a good collaboration with almost everywhere. Any country in the world, we have such as a project, we share some of the data, publish paper, find any solution. And we think about what happened in the last 50 years. We are just a small country with the population of 700,000 in 1971. Today more than 10 or almost 11 million. And the number is going up. Worldwide, more than 7.4 population worldwide, which is huge, and the number will jumping to 9 or to 10 billion by 2050. So we look at it as our opportunity to open a new market, Far East, India, China, Africa. Africa will be 55% more in population in the next 30 years. So we look at all these as opportunity. We have to catch any chance. And the UAE, I think they have already established their foundation, a good academic school. Now 100 are around the country, they graduate from our academic school, and we add a new part of a new department in agribusiness and resource management. So agriculture will be more in business, investment, and resources. We know that worldwide, the average production of the crop production, 3 tons per hectare. And that's good enough for 6 to 7 billion. But in the future, if the number of population is jumping to 10 or 9.7 by 2050, we need to also to have 4 to 5 tons per hectare. And that's impossible with our resources today. So we have to think toward more sustainable or more agri-tech, more vertical farming, more using robotic. This is the only way. So we will keep our resources safe and for future generation, and also we will invest more in smart and with our good friend in the region. Why not?
Thank you so much. You are right, and you are actually kicking off the last voice from UAE, that is Dr. Mahmoudi. So with 𝗣𝗲𝗲𝗍, actually, we are debating since years about the critical role of UAE and innovation, and of course, agriculture with a strong focus on water. But while the Expo started, I started getting to know your center. And I know how much you are caring about also many other issues, overall fostering youth in science, fostering women in science, and developing partnership everywhere in the world. So I would love you to highlight and share with the audience what 𝗣𝗲𝗲𝗍 is doing and how you think your institution can play a critical role from now on.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, everybody. Thank you again, Sarah. Great thank to the Italian Pavilion for organizing such important events you did before, and it's really a great opportunity for exchanging ideas, for interconnecting with many colleagues that I'm just waiting for the panel to interact with them. The International Center for Biosaline Agriculture is lucky to be hosted in such a beautiful country, UAE, where it was a desert and it became, for me, I can see it already a green country. I always use the proverb of our beloved Sheikh Zayed, أعطيني زراعة أعطيك حضارة. Give me agriculture, I give you civilization. Agriculture is very important for all countries, for all the world. Not only for feeding, it's a civilization. At our center, we are trying to use the technology, the innovation. His Excellency, Italian Minister of Agriculture, he highlighted the importance of technology, innovation, and colleagues, all colleagues, they talked about the importance of the technology, the artificial intelligence, and we are trying to use all these tools to grow in non-conventional area. It's a marginal environment. We know that it's not only in UAE, in several countries there is problem with the soil, with the water shortage, with the salinity, and we have to look for ideas. Think out of the box. This is true, it's innovation. We have to think out of the box to find solution, to use the available resources that we have. If you have saline water, you have to find a solution how to grow with this salt water. And you have seen some example at 𝗣𝗲𝗍 where we are growing salicornia, halophytes, other crops, and not only growing, it's going, as you mentioned, Sarah, from the field to the fork, because it's very important to work on the entire value chain, and this is what we are trying to do, because when you work on all this kind of the chain, you are involving youth, you are involving women, and you are helping the rural families. One of the panelists talked about the rural families. This is important to create job opportunities, so we can save the agriculture. There is plenty of technology, and we are really thankful for UAE for hosting this Expo 2020 that gave the chance. I have been around, but still I'm keen to see all pavilions and to see the technology, to attend such event, to learn more, and to connect with the people, to have more technology that can be involved in UAE. UAE as well has a lot of success stories that can share with the world. My colleague from your university, they have a lot of, we have a lot of collaboration with them. There is a lot of things that has been done, and we want to transfer it. As International Center, we are trying to test any technology for specifically, this is the specificity, we are biosaline, but it is marginal, any marginal environment, how we can grow in this marginal environment. Not only growing, it's involving the youth, the women, and create job opportunities, looking at all the value chain from the field to the fork, and make it sure using technology. We are currently developing an application. I'm leading this project to develop application for detecting the plant disorders, and we are including not only the detection, but how to treat it. We are looking for other application to use it for how to commercialize your product. And we are working with chefs. We have, I don't know if you have the chance to visit our pavilion, the dessert farm, where we are working with chefs. We have our halophytic kitchen, where we are showing the people these crops. It's unusual crop. Yeah, it's non-conventional, but you can use it. You can include it in your diet, and it has a nutritional value. Quinoa, we worked a lot in quinoa. It is introduced in some country, and we are working. Prima are encouraging and funding some project, not for 𝗣𝗲, for colleagues in different countries like Tunisia, etc., where to introduce such crops that are nutritional ones and they can tolerate the current condition. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Also because you highlighted some very important keyword, mindset, thinking out of the box. This is the starting point. We need to change mindset. We need to connect the dots and thinking out of the box. Thank you so much to our distinguished panelists. Thank you so much to Dr. Quang Ngo Dinh from Italy. Thank you for being with us. And now we're going to jump into the stories, into the best practices. And Dr. Mahmoudi, you were talking about your desert farm, but also here in the Italian Pavilion we have a very interesting farm, and now we're going to invite on stage Dr. 𝗣𝗲cie, who's going to present that. Thank you so much. And we have a very long journey to highlight more best practices. Thank you. Ciao. Thank you so much. So now I would love to invite on stage a friend, a partner of this pavilion, Dr. 𝗣𝗲cie. He's representing the National Center for Research, and you have to go and see the desert farm from Dr. Mahmoudi, but I invite you all to go and see our horticulture garden, and I want to learn more about that. So, Dr. 𝗣𝗲cie, please introduce the project, because then we would love to go and explore your installation upstairs.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I really want to thank all the organizers for giving me the opportunity to be here today. And okay, actually, I am a researcher at the Italian National Research Council, and which is the main institution for research in Italy. And I think one of the characteristics of CNR is that it is a multidisciplinary institution, so that we heard this morning that we have to face new challenges, and in order to improve the production and sustainability of the agri-food sector, we need to put together different knowledge from different fields. And so I think that CNR can give a hand, because it can put together people that are expert in the bio-agri-food sector, but also physicists, chemists, and also engineers. And this is why CNR developed this project for the development of technology for sustainable agriculture and food safety and security. I don't want to enter in the details of this project, but actually it embraces different points, and one of them is the development of sensors and systems for the observation of Earth and monitoring the ecosystem, but also the development of new tools like vehicles and robotics and automation, and also the development of models and data analysis, and especially artificial intelligence, and that all of that aimed at the development of food safety and security, and of course environmental protection. But now we come to this cooperation. We had CNR and the Italian pavilion here. That is the installation of bioreactor at Botanical Garden of the Italian pavilion. Okay, probably most of you have already visited the pavilion. If not, I really encourage you to go. And inside the pavilion, there is also a garden. a garden that is the result of the cooperation between the Italian pavilion and CNR. And the garden is the witness of the beautiful Italian environment, but it's also a witness of the importance of agriculture for Italy. And inside this garden, we also installed some new sensor to study the health status of the plants. And this is really to show up that Italy is not only traditional agriculture, but also looks at the future. But what is a bioregister? A bioregister is what we say, the device that can give plant a voice. And actually it is an electrochemical transistor that is realized directly on a cotton fiber, and so it's fully biocompatible. And so we insert this device inside the plant stem, and we can monitor continuously the content of solutes, of ions, of molecules inside the plant sap. And so, in some sense, we can continuously monitor the health status of the plant and the physiological status of the plant. And because bioregister is connected to an IoT control unit, then you can have this, the result of this measurement directly on your smartphone or directly connected to a decision support system. And together with some important Italian companies, we already shows that in the case of tomato cultivation, we can keeping the quality and the yield and the production of tomatoes to spare 36% of water. And that is really an important result. But also we can monitor pathogens or the level of fertilization that is required to plant. So it's really an important tool. Okay, so we installed these sensors inside the plants at the Italian pavilion, and we looked for along these months for the signal that comes from the plants, and we tested, of course, grapes and also lemon trees and also olive trees. But also we have tested some plants that are typically plants from the desert, and we observed really very, very interesting results. Now I cannot go into details, but we will show the results the next 28 here in Dubai at an event that has been organizing. But I think that also new knowledge came from this cooperation with the Italian pavilion. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, and see you on the 28th. So I invite you all to come upstairs and see the installation from the CNR, our National Center for Research. Thank you so much, Dr. 𝗣𝗲𝗍. And now we have an exciting journey into 7 projects, because we want to share projects and tangible initiatives. So I want to invite here on stage our first speaker of this session, Dr. Federico Micheli from Tologreen.
Thank you so much for the floor, and thanks all for your presence here. Thanks, authorities. And I'm here representing Tologreen, the company that are making the role of the technical partner in this wonderful pavilion. And I would like to speak about our experience in the capture of the CO2, but mainly about microalgae, earth and agriculture. So microalgae are a superfood for man, the best food for the future. Has been defined by the World FAO conference, but are also biostimulants and fertilizers for agriculture, and represent the innovative way to capture the CO2, the carbon dioxide, directly from air. One of the microalgae we are cultivating upside is spirulina. Spirulina is a healthier, tastier, more nutritional and more sustainable plant-based protein source in the world. So it contains all the 21 amino acids, proteins and vitamins. So it's a natural antioxidant, and can substitute the proteins coming from animals, from beef. So we can say we should go towards a no-meat future, to spare water, so less water, less land, less energy to produce the beef. It's extremely sustainable because it can be considered the sustainable future in food and agriculture. So it's also the way to capture CO2, carbon dioxide, directly from the air. You can say that 1.8 kg of CO2, each kg of dry biomass, can be captured from the microalgae. The microalgae biomass contains also valuable compounds that are perfect for use like biostimulants and to produce fertilizers. You can see the numbers, the values of the electric energy consumption to manufacture 1 kg of chemical fertilizers and the pollution content. So what we can do in this field of the CO2 capture and the next future in this country also. On November 22nd, 2021, Her Excellency Sheikh Al Maktoum said that UAE has been selected to host the COP28 International Climate Conference in 2023 in Abu Dhabi. So this important event is in the line of the United Arab Emirates strategic initiative targeting carbon neutrality to 2050. So the tall green microalgae technology we are proposing are a closed photobioreactors under natural light, a closed system having the aim to allow the microalgae cultivation also in difficult conditions and increase the production. So what could be the main goals for UAE? To be the first to marry and apply this innovative and eco-friendly solution for the capture of the CO2. To be ready to show the world one or more in-operational plants, to be happy to increase local human labor here, increasing knowledge and know-how, favoring human and animal health, agriculture, and wellness in general. So UAE could be on the track to carbon neutrality by 2050, being marketing and communication activities sustained by effective solutions and actions. So I can present now the tall green products that are the Pure is a UAV system to sanitize the air and purify air in closed environments like rooms and meeting rooms. The biofertilizers. So I invite those who have not yet visited our installation above us to step in. Thus, our biologists will give you a sample, a small bag of biofertilizer. The sea LED lights, the Italian company 𝗣𝗲𝗲, provided the LED lights for the artificial irradiation of the microalgae because we are in a confined environment, not on plein air. And at least but not least, the tall green spirulina and the spirulina paint we studied and designed thanks to 𝗣𝗲 Group, another technical partner of our pavilion, a new material, a new paint used to paint many of these rooms. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much. We invite you all to go upstairs and see the exhibition. And now I want to invite the winners of the Agri Future Award promoted by Santa Chiara Lab, University of Siena, that was partnering with the Dubai Commission and also Maker Faire. So I would love to involve here on stage the CEO of Sfera Agricola, Andrea Nunnari, and also to connect with Giulia Giuffre, board member and sustainability ambassador of Iritech. And I want to give the mic, virtual mic, first of all, to Giulia while Andrea is coming.
Good morning. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thanks to Santa Chiara Lab. I'm here to represent Iritech, which since 1974 proposed sustainable irrigation systems in over 100 countries. the benefits of drip irrigation are several. First of all, we had the opportunity to increase the production and to give an answer to the increasing demand of food. We know we'll be soon almost 10 billion people, and we needed to produce more food in a more sustainable way, saving water, saving energy, saving fertilizer, optimizing the use of fertilizer, less pesticide, it's very important, and to give a best way to use the human resources, and also to have an increase in irrigable surface area. All these benefits are possible with precision irrigation. It's a solution for the future. And IRITEC and his R&D department create also, among all the products, the extreme tape, which is a special drip line which is able to be used when the water is extremely dirty, okay? With also in the condition where the farmers are not able to use important fertilization systems, and when the water is very dirty, mostly in some places in Africa and in South America. We have several experience where this drip lines is able to be used, and also for more than one season. So it's good for also for the sustainability of the materials. And so, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Giulia Giuffre from IRITEC, and now Andrea Nunari, CFO of Sfera Agricola.
Good morning all, and thanks very much for the opportunity to tell our story in front of this very stimulating audience. Well, the big question, how to produce more food, better quality, less resources. Basically, we started trying to answer this question about 4 years ago when we built the biggest hydroponic technology greenhouse in Italy. It's a 13 hectares greenhouse in Tuscany. We decided to use hydroponic technology and to combine this technology with the best managerial practice in order to control all the process. Basically, we grow plants outside the land, and growing outside the land, basically our plant, they do not need to compete with other biological elements contained in the land. So basically the plant can grow with no stress, can grow healthier, and it can deliver healthier and tastier food. The other important thing is that in this way, in a protected and controlled environment, we can basically grow all the varieties of all vegetables and tomatoes, all varieties that have not developed any resistances. So they have kept their original taste. This is basically our Italian way to try to combine the technology, the innovation technology, to the culture of food. We can produce 4 times the quantity of tomatoes normally produced in an open field agriculture, in a traditional agriculture, just using 10% of the water, which means basically 90% of water saving. Moreover, all the water that we use basically is taken from the rainwater that we can collect in water basin, and then the water in excess that the plant they do not take, we can recollect again and reuse again, added of course with the natural ingredients that the plants need. Basically every single drops of water is just used for the plant well-being and not widespread in the land. So this is a totally circular system. Another important thing is that not only water footprint but also carbon footprint is very important, as long as we do not waste the carbon print that we can save with long travels to get to the market. So it will be even more sustainable to be able to build high technology greenhouses where the market is, so closer to big cities or where the demand is. In this respect, we are confident that our model can be scaled up and basically can work in every single part of the world. In Italy, we can produce, in Tuscany, we can produce using natural light, but of course, when natural light is not sufficient, we can use artificial light. In this case, it will be very important to have access to clean and cost-effective energies. In conclusion, we are very happy and proud to be giving, since 4 years, our contribution to at least 12 out of 17 Sustainable Development Goals that the United Nations has set for a better world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, to 𝗣𝗲 Agricola. And now we are going to connect with Anna Maria Ranieri, full professor at the Department of Agriculture, Food and Environment at the University of Pisa. Welcome. We don't hear you.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
I will briefly describe the objectives of 3 prima projects in course at the Department of Agriculture, Food and Environment at the University of Pisa, Alofar, SIMTAP and 𝗣𝗲liche𝗀𝗽𝗲𝗏. Alofar aim to optimize the sustainable and profitable farming system. Profitable farming system able to cope with the soil and water salinity in the Mediterranean area by the use of natural-based solutions, namely wild salt-tolerant plants, such as alophytes. Specifically, the project aims to optimize the growth and productivity of glyphosate crops in mixed systems with the selected alophyte and develop an application for smartphone to assist the farmer in the planning of the mixed crop system. Moreover, the project will valorize the edible and not edible biomass as food supplement, feed, and for veterinary applications. SIMTAP is a closed-loop system for the production of seaweed and alophyte crops for fresh consumption. One of the objectives is to decrease the use of commercial fish feeds by integrating in the system detritivore and filter feed on fish manner, purifying the recirculating water and replace, at least partially, the commercial fish feed. The recirculating water microalgae of the genus Chlorella are also cultured, grown on the wastewater from hydroponic greenhouses to feed 𝗣𝗲𝗲𝗏. The goal of 𝗣𝗲liche𝗀𝗽𝗲𝗏 polymer, a natural polymer, I put in a presentation.
It's okay, we see the presentation.
Liquid spray of film together with to protect the fresh foods from insect and fungi attack and to extend the shelf life of food products. According to criteria, chitosan is obtained from the chitin-rich pulper reared on fresh food by products and waste. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Professor Ranieri, thank you so much for being with us. And now I would love to involve Alejandra Navarro-Garcia with the project I Guess Med, already announced by the director from CREA. Welcome, welcome.
Thanks for the opportunity to all the organizers. The presentation. The main goal of this project of I Guess Med is to support the transition toward a sustainable, competitive, and innovative horticultural greenhouse by the design and the development of a decision support system able to reduce nutrient leakage and freshwater use, especially using saline waters, reduce the chemicals by a sustainable and improved control of the pests and the diseases, and increase the productivity by an improved efficiency of the climatic control procedures. This work has the tomato as reference crop, but can be extended to other and use climate data, advanced agronomic management, EOT, and artificial intelligence to turn high technological solutions into simple tools available to the operational farm level. It's not. Yes. Oh. The most important innovation of these DSCs are, on the one hand, that this is an all-in-one solution. It's a unique decision support system for the greenhouse because it integrates all the available knowledge that were developed for our public research centers and university during this year, like the model Simulidro, 𝗣𝗲cie 𝗀𝗲𝗄𝗃 of the greenhouse climate control models, and that were improved during the first years of the project, and also new forecasting model for assessing pests and disease risk in tomato cultivation. On the other hand, the other innovation is the consideration of the electrical conductivity in the irrigation waters to calculate water and nutrient needs, and in this way we can use and manage the saline waters in the crop. To validate all these models, we have used a subflow sensor for estimate the transpiration in plants, lysimeters to obtain the soil evaporation, continuous nutrient concentration collecting from drainage and nutrient solution and plant biomass, and were made in the experimental greenhouses of our public research centers and universities from 4 countries and 3 continents in soil and in soilless, even differentiating between drip irrigation and gutter irrigation. Finally, this is the OP system hardware-software bundle that has been developed by 𝗣𝗲𝗄𝗃, that is an Italian company that operates in the smart agriculture sector. And we can see here the hardware that is installed in the greenhouse. The hardware is equipped with all the data environmental sensors that collect the data and send to the remote system central, and only by wireless connection. Instead, there is the DSS, the software. The software is a software as a service, is difficult to say, platform, and that don't require installation or setup. And here the farmer can check all the processes that happen within the greenhouses and receive alerts, and they can also send the feedbacks by WhatsApp or Gmail, and can control the thresholds of notification, the way in what want to receive, and also can control all the nodes that are installed in the greenhouses. At the moment, the models are ready, and also the software, and we think that the first prototype could be in the next month to be validated in the commercial greenhouses that participate as stakeholders. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And now we have two other stories. Guido Bonatti, we have been talking about how smart is becoming farming, but also tractors are becoming very smart. So we're going to talk about Sim Agri.
Thank you. Good morning. Buongiorno. I'm going to present you Sim Agri, which is a project that has been developed by our engineering colleagues at CREA, the engineering department. Sim Agri is part of the AgriDigit project. Sim Agri is a virtual simulation tool of a tractor. I think I can switch, okay. Of a tractor, a virtual reality tool of a tractor that works in digital agriculture mode. We can simulate any aspect of the tractor, the movement, the interaction with operating machines, the engine. The system itself consists of a normal cabin like you would find in any normal tractor. You have a physical steering wheel, you have a physical brakes, physical buttons, but then all the interaction is made via virtualization and simulation software. Why are we working on such a system? Why don't we work on a normal, on traditional tools, like developing a prototype and testing the prototype in the field? There are at least 3 reasons that made necessary the development of Sim Agri. Reason number 1 is sustainability, or better, sustainability to the power of 2. When we talk of digital agriculture, the key word, not only the buzzword, the key word is sustainability at all levels. One of the priorities that we have in our agriculture given by our Minister of Agriculture is to reduce the amount of pesticides and the amount of fertilizers used in our farms. And of course, as a governmental research institute, we are given money, funds, to do research on such a reduction. How can we reduce? So more and more investments in research in digital agriculture, and Sim Agri is one of our main bricks, one of our main components in this type of research. But then sustainability to the power of 2, because there is also an economic sustainability. Developing a new system, a physical prototype, can be measured in time, it can be measured in years or months. It takes a lot of time. And also, in terms of money, it takes millions of euros to develop a new prototype from the blueprint, to the physical unit. You can do the same with Sim Agri in a matter of weeks or months, not years and months. It takes a very short time, and with a very tiny fraction of the percentage of money that is requested to build a full prototype. And so this is very crucial. You can invent, build, and test in many different situations in terms of soils and climate and farms, as many prototypes as you want using a tool like Sim Agri. And this is reason number 1. Reason number 2 is training. Digital agriculture is not only a matter of buying a new car. It's a totally different way of working in the field, and there is an unprecedented demand for training of drivers. Training is extremely expensive because tractors are expensive and their functioning and working is extremely expensive, and you can reduce a lot the cost by using a simulator tool that, by the way, is unique worldwide, like 𝗍𝗲. And then reason number 3, which I think is the most exciting, to us as researchers, is that we are going to build a digital twin of our farms. As our Director General mentioned previously, CREA owns several experimental farms. We are going to put them digitally with all the plots, all the crops, all the schemes of roads inside the farm, digitally, so that we can run as many simulations as we want. And we also have, in other departments of CREA, we also have models for irrigation management, for crop growing, and so on. And so we want to bring part of our work from the physical world to the digital world. It's something like Facebook is doing with metaverse. We are going to do something similar with our experimental work. And here comes our, I would say, invitation to our colleagues in this country. Would you available to join us in this adventure? We are starting to work on that. Our engineering team is very much strongly involved in this kind of project, in this kind of activity, and therefore we would be happy to create a digital twin in the virtual world of a farm existing in this country, in our labs, and to work jointly on doing experimental work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bonatti. And now, the last project from CREA, presented by Dr. Giuseppe Corti, Director of the Agriculture and Environment Department.
Yeah. Good morning, Ministry, Ambassador, dear colleagues. I would like to attract you on this graphical abstract here on my shoulders here. And this is a project that has been already funded by the Asian University Association and is based here in the United Arab Emirates. Here in this room, there is Professor Xiam Kurup, who is a professor, dear friend Kurup, who is a professor of this university here, based on the Arab Emirates, and he put together people from different parts of the world to have this project. And one is me from the university. When we wrote the project, I was at the university, now at the CREA, and together with other colleagues from Japan, Malaysia, and USA. Am I right? Yes, okay. Which is the theme of the project that I believe is a sort of, I don't like so much to say pilot, but it is by sure an example of a project that can be applied in many places where we have bad soils, meaning saline soils, very degraded soils, pre-desertic or desertic soils, something like that, where we had to move to do agriculture to solve the problem, to give food to the 10 billions of people we will have within 34 years. The project born from an idea, what to do with 44 million palms present in this country. Together with dates, which is tremendous, so good, but the palms also give us the foliage, the product of the pruning, which is yearly 5.5 million tons of dry material, which is a huge amount of organic matter. And this organic matter can be transformed into biochar via pyrolyzation or compost via composting, and to produce both products that can be used together, because everybody knows what biochar is, and the biochar has been used in many parts of the world. But just to say among us, biochar per se is a poor resources. It's a very is a resource that cannot give us not so much per se. Putting together with compost, we may have a win-win activity into the soil. We must reintroduce active organic matter into the soil so to have the possibility to exploit microorganisms. And putting together these two products, we may reintroduce active organic matter, and in the project we want to cultivate pre-desert soil to produce chickpea, tomato, watermelon, and corn, in the way to obtain food where food has never been produced. And this is a challenge we have made, thanks also from the United Arab Emirates University. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I'm really glad actually you ended up highlighting the strong collaboration with the UAE. And I would love to say to our minister, are you proud about all of those innovation highlighting the knowledge from our country and how much we can create connection through agriculture? I'm very proud to see all of those scientists coming and sharing their knowledge here. And now I would love to fly to Italy, because we have two voices, two guests, talking from Campania region, that is one of the regions highlighting one of the approach that is Mediterranean diet we care so much about. And we wanted to hear the voices, first of all, of a policy maker who's creating policies adopting Mediterranean diet as a way to change the way on how you can shape the landscape, starting from agriculture, and the voice from the industry. So now we're going to switch to Italian, and I want to invite here Mayor Stefano Pisani. Stefano Pisani is the mayor of Pollica. Pollica is one of the 7 emblematic communities of Mediterranean diet, and actually we are very proud because this year Italy is leading the network of emblematic communities of Mediterranean diet. Stefano, vorrei...
Good morning to everyone.
Stefano, I would like to involve you in this conversation because we spoke about how science is contributing, how digital industries are contributing. And I think there are also mayors and so do policymakers be impacting. Let's talk about what is being done in Pollica. That is for sure a capital city of Mediterranean diet. And we know that the Mediterranean diet is a starting point for us Italian, especially when we talk about score and our products. To you the floor. First of all, good morning everyone, and many thanks for the invitation. You were saying rightly, in Pollica we try to find a way to show how Mediterranean diet can be very useful for these challenges. We've came up with solutions that had to do with the complexity of managing a community, and we tried to show how possible it was to change the destiny of a place towards sustainability and quality of life by adopting a world heritage such as the Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet became a development tool. We started from agriculture by looking at our tradition and gathering together all the innovation and combining it with the innovation and technology of the Italian agriculture, and we put this and we made sure that the system of this very decentralized community, the marginalized communities, may adopt a series of innovative actions, such the first that had to do with health, that helped us support our community during COVID. By supporting the enterprises through innovation programs that could ensure that our quality products might score success and also get to a world level with our DOP and GI. And we went beyond with regards of the cultural topic. We realized that sometimes they are not sufficient to determine the development. And we do this through the collaboration with international partners that helped us to redesign our community by creating new plots that might build the future of new generations by transferring to these generations not only innovation and modernity, but how to make this innovation stay on the path of our heritage of Mediterranean diet. This is a true national policy. If we can innovate agriculture, we can maintain biodiversity. So fighting for agriculture is also means to fight the geological disasters and fight for sustainability. So we're doing this also in 𝗲𝗲 through composting and the extractions of biogas from algae and urban waste, so that we can put all this in a community, energy community, and this can help us to implement different actions about the training of new generations in order to understand innovation tradition. And we can make sure those places become a research centers. In 𝗲𝗲 we're doing this. We're ambitious, maybe too ambitious, but I heard before that it's necessary to think out of the box. We're doing this in 𝗲𝗲. We have a clairvoyant vision. We think about 𝗲𝗲 into 2050. We think about an ecosystem that is able to put together different aspects of the daily life of a community. And we try to create a new development model for the future. We understood that agriculture is not only the way through which we can produce food. As the Minister of Agricultural Politics is watching us, that I greet His Excellency Patuanelli, I think it is for us to be on the forefront in this development. If we don't do this, we risk losing a high share of our economy, and we would risk of losing a great economic value for our country, but especially we would renounce to determine the development politics of the world, of the entire world. What we did in 𝗲𝗲 is a small experiment that I think can provide some interesting insights to all the innovators that are out there watching us. We try to implement not only the process or product innovation. We like to talk about innovation in management and organizational models, because that's a community. You have to know how to organize yourself and make the difference towards the future that is made up of sustainability and quality of life. Many thanks, Mayor Pisani. This is a great example of how to start from politics in order to create healthy and sustainable models. Now a voice from industries, agri-food industry, a partner here in Dubai. We have here with us Dr. Giuseppe Dada, Head of Research and Development for Ferrarelle, because we know how important it is, the role of industry in all this. This is crucial, just like for policy makers.
Buongiorno.
Good morning. I will talk about water, about mineral water. 𝗣𝗲𝗃 is one of the main players in the water sector. And what are the main engagement of 𝗣𝗲𝗃 in terms of sustainability and circular economy and impact on consumers? Water is inside our food pyramid, is the base of it, because a lot of professionals say that we have to drink pure water without contamination. Today I'm talking about mineral water. Mineral water is a particular water that is used in bottles in Europe, and this comes from a tradition of thermal waters. But what is that mineral water? Mineral water is a water that is different from the other waters because of its purity. So nature is producing this good with all the quality of contamination that can derive. Industrial, animal, vegetal, and it has a typical composition. Mineral that comes from its geological district, and it also can have some benefits on the well-being of the people. So, us as enterprises, we are not transforming the food; we are just transforming it, because we are just taking some raw materials from the nature, and we can act as a vehicle to let it available for all the population. So we have an important commitment towards a natural resource that is not ours. We pay just royalties, and we have the responsibility. And on the other side, we have an agricultural vision when we cannot improve the soil. Under these responsibilities, so also the responsibility of the producers, 𝗣𝗲𝗃 has founded the sustainability and has used sustainability as its main core of its vision. And I would like to underline 3 examples of circular economy used by 𝗣𝗲𝗃. The first is water. Water is a natural product, and we cannot modify it. We can guarantee and safeguard our territory, of course, in order that this resource can be renewable. We have to extract water in a neutral quantity without impacting too much on our resources, in an ecological way, without pollution. This can help the long-term supply of this natural resource. The second is the territory. We have a territory quite large, 250 hectares, where we have our sources. In our economy, we launched an activity of organic agriculture. We founded a company or organic food culture where we can produce in small quantities olive oil, honey, nuts, vegetables, all in harmony, respecting the soil and the water. And the center of production of this farm is a farm of the 1970s that became an important also touristic center. Last but not least, the commitment of 𝗣𝗲𝗃 is important for the water and also for water containers, particularly the plastic ones. We have chosen a circular economy to make this product long-lasting, in order to make it reusable, to make a new bottle. So we invested a lot near the plant in order to renew and recycle plastic bottle. The bottles are destroyed, washed, and returned for a new bottle. And this is a bottle to bottle integrated in the system. Just with 200 million bottles that we sell in Italy, they have 60% of PET. I would like to give the testimonial of a company that is strictly linked to sustainability, because water is an important element for us, and it's also an engagement for what concerns the supply chain. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. 𝗣𝗲. Thank you very much, Mayor Pisani. Circular economy is essential. We have to support this transition. And now I would like to call back our friends from CREA, and I'm connecting with 𝗣𝗲cie𝗀𝗽𝗲𝗿, Director of Policies and Bioeconomy Center, and I would like also to
of local actions, because now we have to connect food with tourism. We need to understand how traditional diets can become a way to foster this transaction. And I would love to have here with me on stage Gianluca Macchi from Valtellina, Valle dei Sapori, Fabrizia Lanza, the heart of Sicily, and Carlo Ricci, Gal Costa dei Trabocchi. Beautiful places. While I was introducing you, I was thinking about those places, so we would love to learn more. But now to start, please, Alessandra Pesce, I think is connected with us. Maybe? Yes. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Let me give a special greeting to all the authorities and to all the present. In this panel, we present experiences of sustainable rural development. And to introduce this panel, we have prepared a short video. So let's see it.
Towns scattered along the hills, perched on the mountains, spread through the coast of the Mediterranean. They are the wealth of our country, rural Italy, which produces the food that the world loves, where the roots of a cuisine with borders lie, which offers the most curious tourist, unforgettable landscapes and jewels of art and architecture. More than 200 territorial communities supported by European Union's rural development programs, which work according to the principles of collaborative governance to connect local protagonists of agriculture, entrepreneurial, social, and administrative life. In the last 5 years, we have involved over 12,000 partners and created over 15,000 projects to help those who work in the fields build development strategies for their territories and innovative processes for the marketing of local products. We are the rural Italy of the future. We are the Italy you love.
Of course, you're all invited to come and visit after the World Expo, but now I would love to start to hear your voices and your stories. Let's start from Valtellina. Okay, so let's start with the first case history.
Yes, there is a video.
Yes, I think it's starting while you're gonna start talking.
Yeah, good morning to everybody. And we are in the heart of Lombardy, a few kilometers away from the international airport of Bergamo, or Serio, and where there are the Orobian Alps. a land of a magnificent beauty where the landscape alternate lakes, peaks, paths, and woods. And in the rural villages are preserved the knowledge from which cheeses, meats, apple, oil, and other excellent agri-food products are born and where do they belong. In order to protect this heritage and carry it to the future, 4 lakes, Valtellina, Valbrembana, Colli di Bergamo and 𝗣𝗲𝗲 have created 𝗣𝗲_𝗀𝗲, an innovative rural development project that focuses on sustainable mobility. 𝗣𝗲𝗀 want to connect the airport of Oriol Serio with the Bernina train in Tirano, that is World Heritage Patrimony. The objectives are to support the local economy by developing the rural product through the creation of an integrated net of cycle paths usable by everybody, developing the rural tourism and the local identity, by safeguarding biodiversity, landscape, territory, and let them know. Today, quality food is the driving force for a slow and environmentally friendly tourism, the raw material of a sustainable local development model. This is 𝗣𝗲𝗀. This is what we want to do. Furthermore, this project has the support of CREA, that is studying the value of the ecosystem services related to it, that give the next days are ready to give us the results of this study.
Thank you so much. And now we fly to Sicily with 𝗣𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗲.
Hello? Yeah. Vado? Yes. Hello, thank you for inviting me here. We are all very honored. My name is 𝗣𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗲 and I represent a group of farmers and producers who live in a very mountainy and rural area in central Sicily. The idea of our project, I would say the goal, is to network, so to bind each other, because as many of you have said today, it's important to connect the dots, but also to consider the idea and share this idea that there are no flavors in historical beauty, in food, in crafts, without considering the enormous amount of knowledge, passion, and care that people put in this flavor. So ultimately, the idea of this project is to share not only the beauties of Sicily and the idea of Sicily, but also recollection of stories and of individuals. So enjoy the video.
Thank you.
The Heart of Sicily, che abbiamo chiamato così non a caso, perché siamo nel cuore della Sicilia, la zona più interna, la zona più lontana dalle coste, quindi quella meno popolata e meno conosciuta, è un progetto che è nato dall'idea di lavorare insieme.
È un modo di fare rete nell'accezione più bella. Rete significa maglie, rete significa dei nodi attraverso i quali però ci sono degli spazi e attraverso questi spazi passa la creatività.
È un invito a un viaggio alla scoperta di questo meraviglioso territorio del quale sono profondamente innamorata, per conoscerlo nella sua autenticità.
Per portare turisti, viaggiatori che hanno voglia di conoscere la Sicilia più recondita, la Sicilia più sconosciuta, visitare zone nascoste che da soli non sarebbero in grado di trovare.
Siamo noi, la nostra educazione, la nostra storia che mettiamo a disposizione di chiunque sia interessato a conoscerla.
Diventare parte del territorio, diventare madoniti per più giorni.
Venite con noi a scoprire un'isola inaspettata. Regalatevi un'esperienza unica e autentica, accompagnati dai nostri host. Vi aspettiamo nel cuore della Sicilia.
Grazie mille e ora, and now, sorry.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Many thanks for this invitation. And yes, the Costa dei Trabocchi is the place where I come from. And in this place, just a few years ago, the tourist offer was very weak, based substantially on seaside resorts, very traditional, and disconnected with the inland of the countryside. But 3 years ago, with the realization of a greenway, a 50 kilometers greenway on the old tracks of the coastal railway, the landscape changed substantially. And my local action group, together with partners like Lega Ambiente and the Chamber of Commerce, we organized a wide work group to launch a new vision for our region and to become a sustainable tourism destination where you can leave the car, take the e-bike, and visiting from the coast, the inland, the countryside that is made of hills, and visiting natural reserves, historical villages, farms, wineries, tasting local products. And the first step to go in this direction was the realization of the Trabocchi Cycle Network. That is a network of 263 kilometers of bike roads using old country roads, and by which you can reach all the main highlights of environmental, cultural, and enogastronomic type. Another important step was the implementation of a digital ecosystem. This digital ecosystem today, after just 6 months after the publication, hosts 10 different tourist information websites connected one each other. And we implemented a special guidance systems for bikers that combine the road signs with through QR code with a digital platform where you can download information and tracks in order to transform your smartphone in a navigator, audio and video. And then the last thing we did was to organize a new festival. The name is Art, Bike and Run, and the first edition in 2021 had a very good success. So this is 2 years of work, and for us it was a very big lesson on how to work. That means to make different kind of local actors work, collaborate together. That is to implement and to support a digital transformation of the communication, to implement very soft but innovative infrastructures, and I would say above all, to make the people think, work, and also dream together. This is Leader. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And now I want to go back to Alessandra Pesce. So, Director, you are working really to foster this kind of collaboration, and we see that agriculture as well as sustainable diet can really become drivers for sustainable development and tourism. And I think that CREA is playing a critical role because you are creating ecosystems of innovation, connecting tourism with agriculture and research. So please, I would love you now to connect all the dots, because hearing their stories was very fascinating, but now we would love to understand better what's the role of CREA, what are you doing to create these ecosystems?
Yes, Sarah, thank you. I think that we have seen some examples. So these are 3 examples of activities that we are supporting in networking activities of the CREA. We have 200 of the initiatives as the map shows, and they manage different environments and economics, and they face different challenges. So it's not easy to make a network activities between these local communities. As can we see in the map, we have the speakers today, and they come from the north, the south, South and Central Italy, and they are the ambassadors of this local organization that are called local action groups, and they are the beneficiaries of a European program which is called years ago Leader, and now their activities are financed by the Rural Development Program. And I think that important is to give the voice to these often little known remote areas, and but these areas have also a great cultural heritage, landscape, tradition, and typical production. And in this sense, the mix, the combination between tradition and innovation is the great effort that we made. In this sense, these areas are something like incubators of experiences, and we, thanks to our national program, which is called Network, which has a networking aim, we get in touch these areas, and we try to show the strength, the innovation, and the sustainability of this initiative, and we try to spread the seeds of for a profitable exchange between the players and for the launch of new cooperation projects. So I think that in this way, the work that CREA is making, it's real, the activity of innovation, of thinking out the box that we said before, because it's important to combine innovation and tradition, use the local resources such as typical products, the products of the Mediterranean diet, our landscape, our heritage, and in this way create a new path for sustainable development. This is the contribution that we made, and we try to achieve with these activities.
Thank you so much, Director 𝗍𝗍, for connecting the dots. This is crucial nowadays, thinking out of the box and connecting the dots. And thank you so much for bringing the voice of Italy and showing these amazing best practices. And now, I know you are hungry, but when we're talking about food, safety is crucial. So now, this last part of this marathon this morning is going to be dedicated to that. Talking about safety, the quality in food markets, the importance of global dimension in controls and procedures. So I would love to connect, first of all, with Dr. 𝗍𝗍, Head of Department of Central Inspectorate for Fraud and Repression and Quality Protection of Agri-Food Products, ICQRF. And I invite to join me here close to the podium the next speakers. Okay, welcome, Dr. 𝗍𝗍.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you hear me well?
Yes.
So may I continue?
Absolutely, loud and clear, yeah.
Okay, good morning to everyone. Firstly, allow me to greet my Minister Stefano Patuanelli, the Emirates authorities, and the Director Marine, and all the delegates today present and connected. I'm referring to the title of this panel, Quality in Food Markets and the Importance of a Global Dimension in Control and Procedure. So, I dare say that is well integrated as item within the scope and the goal of the event. Indeed, the discussion about people, planet, prosperity, and the possible shared experience for a future of agriculture pass even through a proper precise, effective control system. In this context, we should consider the control system not as something to be deemed as punitive or to be considered as a burden, but we should deem a modern control system as a proper tool to ensure the quality, the traceability, and for enhancing the trust of the consumers. So, implementing a modern, effective control system will reach the target of guaranteeing quality and sustainable production, but means also to improve the value added of the entire agri-food system. The trust of a modern agri-food system is built also, and I want to stress this again, to something that could be compared to a holistic approach that considers and involves all the actors of every agri-food sector. And of course, this credibility is based to an effective control system also. In this scenario, we should keep in mind that improving and enhancing the agri-food system means, above all, to defend and to increase the income of the farmers with all the possible perspectives in terms of quality, traceability, safety of the food, and on the other side, maintaining the integrity of rural territories, sustainability of the environment, in particular of the agro-environment. Hence, those commitments, those duties are carried out every day by our inspectors and laboratories. Women and men of this inspectorate, who day per day with their works contribute to guarantee the excellent quality of the Italian agri-food system. In this context, let me thank again the Minister Patuanelli for the attention and the strong support furnished for our activities. In conclusion, following my intervention, the Italian delegation, headed today by Mrs. Carpino, will proceed to explain with more details our activities. But before that, I presume a video will be launched. So, thanks a lot for your attention, and I would like to stress that we do remain at complete disposal for possible future cooperation and all the clarification needed. Thank you, have a nice work, and grazie.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ħażenza. While the video is running, I involve Dr. Stefania Carpino to join us. So, Dr. 𝗣𝗲cie 𝗀𝗽𝗲𝗁, the Director of Research and Analytic Activities, I would love to learn from you how it works, because protecting quality is crucial for Italy.
Okay, thank you for your introduction, and sorry for the time, but it's not my fault. So we want to just, in this video we summarize what is our activity, but we don't just do control. So what is important to clarify that our department is quality control and supporting the quality for our consumers and our producers. So we have just some numbers. So our department, ICQR, is the official law enforcement body of the Italian Ministry of Agriculture, and has the headquarters in Rome, but is also located all around Italy and islands. So the role and activities of this department is the authority and is the national, international office control, as well as the sanctioning activity as a judicial police in the agri-food sectors, as we already saw in the video. But why we support the quality? Why it is so important, our role in supporting the Italian products, made in Italy products? Because in the Italian model, you see there are 841 GI products, including all kind of certified products that has a huge production value. And plus we have the organic products that are 6.9 billion euro turnover. So it's very important to support and to protect this product in order to be sure that what we export and what we eat in the world is the best quality. So what we do in order to control and guarantee the quality? We run capillary controls across national itinerary as well as international control. We have very close cooperation with the international institutions and control bodies. We also have research and activities with different institutional in order to control and trace biochemical controls and on the web platforms. In order to do this, we have these constant web controls and cooperation with the major online marketplace that we'll talk later, just after me. And we also study new solutions with universities and the online marketplace for the use of artificial intelligence on web controls. We also have as unique, because Italy is the only country in Europe having such a system of traceability. So we have 2 online registers that are mandatory for wine and olive oil producers. So we keep and trace any movement from these farms. And in order to do this, we use the SIN, our Italian Agriculture Information System, that also provides a geographical information system. So the whole national territory has been mapped by aerial. And this is like my specialty, because in this table you see all the different laboratories and all the different sectors that are represented by with special tools. We also run we run chemical analysis plus sensory analysis for wine, for oil and honey. And all our analytical protocols are accredited and are as an official standard, as AC regulations or national regulation or our internal regulation. And we also cover the risk analysis, and we monitor all kinds of processes that happen in the lab. And here, summarizing what our special activities. This is one project that where we are using the radioactivity, the natural radionucleoside that are present in this case in olive oil, and corresponding tracing these radionucleotides in the land. So it's really kind of futural collaboration. And plus we have the regular IRMS to detect mislabeling for PDO and for wine, cheese, in order to determine the geographical origin. We also can detect the shelf life, the vintage of the wine, and all kind of illegal enological practicing like watering or sugaring. We also can detect the mislabeling for PDO, for EVO, and for the geographical origin. And we also have applied some of these methods for detect foreign Jews, for example, and sold as Italy product, and they were not, or like watering the tomato concentrates. That is a kind of recent project. And plus we have this ion chromatography, high resolution mass spectrometry that is very, very powerful for pesticide analysis and glyphosate. So we have done a bunch of analysis, especially in the main arriving places, as our minister knows. So we are very involved in these actions. And the way how I want to conclude is that our analytical approach is like a data fusion concept. So it doesn't use just one methodology, one analytical method, but what we do is running sensory, chemistry, and all kind of analytical tools, pulling everything together, getting the single data, but treat all the data together, and model all this data that come from different perspectives and instruments, and make the final decision. So I try to be fast, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You were very good in explaining us the complexity behind food and how important it is to protect the quality of our produce. And now we have 3 stories, 3 best practices, and I want to involve Mr. 𝗍𝗍𝗲𝗏 Wang, Director of Global IP Enforcement, that is connected virtually with us. Good morning from Alibaba. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I think I would start with some backgrounds of Alibaba Group and our general practice. Now we'll go to this our specific collaboration with ICQRF with respect to protect Italian geographic indicators. So as we already said many times, e-commerce becomes very, very important in our commerce. And with respect to Alibaba Group, we operate various platforms in China to connect sellers around the world to sell goods to China, as well as connect the sellers in China to the world through our such as AliExpress platforms and Alibaba.com platforms. So currently, we serve over 1 billion consumers around the world. So it is essential for us to earn the trust of consumers, and we want to maintain the trust of the consumers. So what do we do to protect the consumer trust is that we set up a very robust system to find the problematic listings or problematic products listed on our platforms, right? So we have this we call the 4-pillar approach. The first pillar is that we have a robust takedown request system that rights holder, who is the expert of the product, can submit requests to us, telling us, hey, this product is problematic, you need to remove that. They are the expert. And that system, in response to that request, we remove the problematic listings from our platform. So that's one pillar. The second pillar is we use our own technologies. We use many different technologies, including some advanced algorithm to try to detect suspicious seller behaviors, to detect the suspicious product features. And we remove, actually, in fact, we remove many more times than the products that we removed based on rights holders takedown requests. But that's our proactive system as our second pillar, just to use technology and our own capability and our own knowledge to try to find the suspicious sellers and the suspicious listings. The third pillar is actually working with law enforcement. It's very important that law enforcement is actually play a very important role in our whole system, especially in China, because that's our core consumer group as well as a core seller group. So we work pretty much law enforcement in all the provinces in China to try to find counterfeit sellers and try to disrupt their operation. In fact, each year, our collaboration with law enforcement, as well as brands, actually brands is also part of the collaboration. We would, I think last year our collaboration cost over 1,200 arrests on the counterfeit sellers in China. The fourth pillar actually is also very important, is our collaboration with all the stakeholders. And the stakeholders not only just the rights holders, it's also include governments around the world, industry also associations, and any bodies that actually has an interest in protecting IP. Now this actually is where our collaboration with ICQRF come from, right? And it's back in 2016. We had a meeting with ICQRF. I remember the meeting was in Rome, and the ICQRF basically told us, we are actually the expert of Italian agriculture food, right? Italy has lots of geographic indicators, and we know how to identify bad products. We know how to identify fake geographic indicator foods using fake geographic indicators. So do you think that we can have a collaboration with Alibaba so that we can remove those problematic listings very quickly? Now, for us, it's actually no-brainer, right? You have an expert telling us that I am actually expert in protecting consumers. I know how to identify fake products. And for us, this is a very efficient way to protect the geographic indicator, so we don't have to go with each individual rights holder to protect their geographic indicator, where we can have actually a government body expert in all this field to work with us directly. So this is the basis of our MOU approach with ICQRF. Basically, the MOU set up a collaboration a very efficient collaboration between ICQRF and Alibaba, where ICQRF would do their monitoring, do their work as they do with all other platforms, as well as many physical marketplace, and tell us, hey, this listing is problematic, you need to remove that. And after receiving that listings, we remove listing very quickly. And this collaboration has been going for, it's ongoing collaboration starting 2016. Right now, I think we have over 40 geographic indicators, Italian geographic indicators included in this MOU. And it covers wine, cheese, olive oil. To be honest, some of the geographic indicators is beyond my knowledge, so I don't know if it's cover more than those foods. But to protect this specific industry as well as and the trust of consumers, I think this collaboration is very essential for us and very effective. So I think I end up here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wang. We strongly believe that those kind of memorandum are crucial, and our Italian government has always pushed a lot to support this kind of collaboration, to protect consumers. And now I would love to involve and invite here on stage Antonella Mascali, Food Safety Lead Manager Regulatory for Europe and Amazon, because we know the global e-commerce market needs to be supported and protected.
And thank you for inviting me. At Amazon, we aspire to be the Earth's most customer-centric company, and safety is a top priority for us. So we relentlessly focus on our customer and work towards enforcing processes and protocols to ensure a safe access to food and to protect against non-compliant products. You can imagine that we have challenges due to the size and complexity of our business. And across our marketplace, we are managing millions of food and beverage products with thousands of suppliers. To face that, we cannot rely exclusively on manual processes. Because the manual processes are limited in their capability to detect and prevent food safety risks. And so we instead leverage on technology that integrate and supplement the subject matter expertise. We do invest on subject matter expertise and on staff that are dedicated to programs investigating on compliance issues and enforcing our policies. Our approach is to develop methods that can support this human effort. And this is a concept of our corporate DNA. We work to innovate and automate our programs. So the food safety journey starts with the partnership with our selling partner, because they are the most well-positioned to know their products and the requirements that apply. And we seek the partnership and we remind them of our joint commitment to work to the highest level of customer protection. However, we acknowledge that perfection doesn't exist, and therefore we focus our objective to block suspicious, safe and non-compliant products. In our approach, we work to implement programs that can detect and predictive food risks. And how we do that? We are developed a methodology that relies on 3 pillars. The first one is to develop modeling that are accurately determining the food risk. Then, based on this, the second pillar is to take action proactively to remove the potential harmful products before they can even reach the customers. And third, we need to ensure that these modelings are continuously retrained, because they need to maintain a high level of performances. Predictive models rely on data. One of our key factor and key sources of data is our customer feedback. So we have programs that can monitor the feedback of our customer, and just to give you a magnitude of that, we are receiving, scanning and analyzing 67 million of feedbacks per week. This means that through the analysis of this data, we can have signals of potential risks. Therefore, we conduct then investigations, and we are able to block immediately the products from even reaching our customers. Sometimes we have programs that do even prevent harmful or potential harmful product to be listed on the catalog. Customer feedback is not the only source of data that we can analyze, and we have also information from sellers and from brand owners, and we have developed programs that can scan the information on the products every few minutes, and we are speaking about scanning hundreds of millions of products. And just to add to that, there are about 5 billion of attempts to change the information on the product detail page per day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mascali. The size of these numbers let us understand both the importance of data, but also the importance of consumers, because consumers plays really a critical role. Thank you so much. And now the last best practice from eBay, Ottavia Marotta, who's connected virtually with us. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to attend this panel today. Since its founding in 1995, eBay's core purpose has always been to create economic opportunity for all, connecting buyers and sellers through its marketplace and empowering entrepreneurs and small businesses to reach millions of buyers worldwide. Italy is among the 5 most relevant markets for eBay globally, and in our role as enablers, we are strongly committed to promoting Italian excellence worldwide, promoting the digital export of Italian companies, and indeed 7 out of 10 Italian professional sellers on eBay export their products worldwide. At the same time, of course, we are also committing to making sure that our marketplace is a safe environment for everyone, for users and for sellers, and also to make sure that the quality of products sold on our platforms is properly recognized and protected. Central to this commitment of eBay, together with all the proactive tools and efforts that at eBay we put in place to make sure that eBay is recognized as a trusted and safe marketplace. Central to this effort, by the way, is the 𝗣𝗲 program, the Verified Right Owners program that eBay launched back in 1998, and that relies on the partnership with over 97,000 intellectual property right owners. Thanks to the 𝗣𝗲 program, these IP right owners can easily notify to eBay the presence on our marketplace of potentially counterfeit or otherwise infringing listings, and the 𝗣𝗲 team immediately verifies the notification received and promptly removes the listings. The 𝗣𝗲 program has worked very well over the years to enhance the level of protection ensured on our marketplace, and also has also shown to eBay how important it is to establish effective relationships, effective collaborations with IP right owners. Having in mind this goal, the memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Agriculture and with the ICQRF was strongly pursued by eBay back in 2014, and indeed eBay is very proud to have been the first marketplace to sign the Memorandum of Understanding with the ICQRF in order to make sure that the level of protection of agri-food products on our marketplace could be enhanced thanks to the collaboration with eligible third parties like the inspectorate, the ICQRF, but also 𝗣𝗲𝗀𝗃 and Origine Italia, who have a very detailed and precious know-how about the Italian quality, the Italian excellence of agri-food products. Together with eBay, we could work in order to make sure that these products could be protected on our marketplace. The pillar of the Memorandum of Understanding with the ICQRF is the 𝗣𝗲 program that I was describing before. Thanks to the 𝗣𝗲 program, the ICQRF, 𝗣𝗲𝗃 and Origine Italia can easily notify the presence of, on our marketplace of potentially infringing listings related to protected designation of origin or protected geographical indication. And thanks to the collaboration in place, our team, our 𝗣𝗲 team, can easily detect the notifications. Also, taking into consideration that we find, of course, very accurate the notification received by such eligible third parties. And thanks to this collaboration, we can effectively make sure that the potentially infringing listings are immediately removed. Indeed, 90% of the notifications result into removal of listings within 12 hours. So this is really very effective and very quick. And this is also a proof of the fact that the memorandum has proven to be very effective, and over the years, since 2014, for this reason, we have committed to renewing the memorandum. The last renewal was run in 2021, and we really think that this partnership is a strategic partnership that we would like to enhance also in the future in order to make sure that a common goal, I would say, is achieved. The common goal of guaranteeing a high level of protection for the Italian excellence in the agri-food sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are clearly understanding how much our government is committed to support the protection and the safety of our food system. And last speaker, big responsibility to Simone Calzi from Origine Italia. Big responsibility, but very important. Let's talk about food safety and let's understand better how might we protect our ingredients, our beautiful products.
Thanks a lot, and I'll be as fast as I can, short in time. Some numbers about the Italian geographical sector, but I can go fast as they were already introduced by ICQRF, and you see it's a very huge sector. It's a very important sector regarding wine and agri-food products, and you can also see the production value and the consumer value of this product and the number of operators about this sector. And again, I'm here representing Origine Italian, and who is Origine Italia is the association representing 90% of the Italian geographical indication production, and we bring ahead the collective needs of the geographical indication of the consortia recognized by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food and Forestry Policies, and the members of Origin are the 70 consortia of 𝗣𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃 products, and the association of the Cheese Association and the 𝗣𝗲𝗃 Association. And Origin represents the most important Italian products, 𝗣𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃 products. Some examples like grana padano, parmigiano reggiano, and prosciutto di Parma, and we try to collect the interests and the needs of the PDO and PGI products through other collect associations like Origin Europe, so we do this kind of lobby activities in Europe, Origin World, and also we collect data for research with Quale. And talking about geographical indications, we have to say that it's a EU regulation, EU rules that in charge, for example, regarding the control, the Italian Ministry of Agriculture to protect and to control the geographical indication. It's the Italian Ministry that in charge itself on one side the control bodies for the control on production, and the other side the consortia of the PGI, PDO products to make control on the market through its inspector. And both of these aspects of these activities have to be reported to ICQRF, the repression fraud department, which always work together with control bodies and consortia. So some aspect of the digital tools regarding GIS control on the two aspects. Production, firstly, an example for in this case is the branch database realized by Q&A for the PDO Prosciutto di Parma, where it's a web portal that collects the data of all the production from slaughterhouse, from breeding farm, slaughterhouses, and the curing producers, and are available for companies, consortium, and the control body in order to have the infringements and the non-conformity settled without wasting of time and before the products may go on the market. And on the other side, give me some new aspects of control on the market given by the digital passport for agri-food, and especially for GIS, realized by the Poligrafico dello Stato. And what is it? It's a digital passport for GIS. It ensures the fight against counterfeiting on agri-food, and gives some important tool regarding the identity of the product, which is with a unique coding on every single product, the traceability of it, because it gives information about the origin and the background, the supply chain of the product, and also it goes beyond strengthening the security of the product, so that could be useful for the control on the market, and also the communication, because we'll see there's an app which is Trust Your Food that the consumers can download, and with this app they could read the hologram. We got two examples for the moment being on PGIs, which are Modena balsamic vinegar and Modica chocolate PGI, and also I got some package of Modica chocolate I bring to our minister, and I have to give to him and to Mr. Stefano Vaccari, which is a friend of us, and also to verify this aspect. I mean, truly that is already settled and already done by Poligrafico dello Stato together with CCSQA, and that can give, as I said before, more attention to the product information, and also the capacity for the consumer to understand while it's in the market all the aspects of traceability and all the information regarding the origin of the product with the unique code put it on the package of the product itself. And now, just last information, the first PDO product that is trying to bring ahead this aspect is the Prosciutto di Parma. We're working to have a laser branding on the product in order to have all the information available with the app that I was talking before, and also with the hologram to be put on the package of the product, personalized product, in order to have all the information available for the consumer, in order to enhance the control by the inspectors on the market. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And for the closing, I want to invite here on stage Antonio Di Lullo, one of the volunteers, peer mentors of the Italian Pavilion, because this is something pretty unique that the Italian Pavilion has been doing. Tons of youth are connected with us. Thank you so much for being so patient. But food is such an important thing. We need to take time to understand the complexity of food. So I want to thank our friends from UAE, from ICBA, from the UAE University, but also from the ministry, from Israel, and of course, our Ministry of Agriculture, Stefano Patuanelli, Ambassador Lehner, the Director of Marine, Director of CREA, the President of Prima, and all the friends and coming here to share knowledge behind food. We cannot simplify food. We know we cannot simplify food and the complexity of food behind a Nutri-Score. Behind food, there are identities, culture, tradition, science, also policies, a lot of things. Thank you so much for being so patient, and please share with us what's next.
Thank you very much. Good morning, actually. My name is Antonino Di Lullo. I'm one of the volunteers here at the Italian Pavilion and also a mentor for the 3 days event that I'm actually about to introduce. It's very nice to be able to introduce it right now, as despite the timing, it will be centered on most of the topics that have been dealt with today, thanks to our guest speakers. And in fact, I believe that thanks to them, we might have gotten a grasp during this morning of how the food industry, the food production and food distribution industry may have a detrimental impact sometimes on the environment. And those same industry, while having this impact, are not always able to deliver quality products, quality dishes to, we might say, to the majority of its recipients. Our focus as students, of course, as mentors here, is on school canteens for many reasons, of course. First is that for those students that are able, in Italy but all around the world, to benefit from student canteens, they represent almost a third of their total daily intake, so they have a huge impact on their health and on their nutrition. At the same time, we believe that time spent within a canteen is school time, and therefore has an educational value that should not be forgotten. That is why we have decided to challenge students, to involve students, high school students that are at the core, the protagonists of this team, to design and develop products or services or strategies, basically to put the focus on the high importance, the incredible importance that high quality canteens have on student lives. This basically, we want them to be creative about how new technological process can be used in the food industry to deliver quality products, quality dishes to the large distribution, to mass consumption, of which, of course, school canteens represent a core aspect. This will be, and much more actually, will be at the center of Food for Planet. That is a 3 days challenge-based event that will start tomorrow in collaboration with the Italian Ministry for Education, that I'm honored to thank, and that will involve actually high school students from Italy and the Emirates right here, all in presence in the Accademia of the Italian Pavilion. We look forward to see what are going to be the results of these 3 days, and we're sure that these are going to be an incredible and exciting experience for all those taking part. I believe there is not much more left for me to say except happy food for the planet to everyone, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Antonio. The food journey is a never-ending story. Thank you so much for being with us. People, planet, prosperity, food is the epicenter. Thank you, and please visit the Italian Pavilion.
For almost 3,000 years, I have grown greatly. I have changed, innovated, and reshaped myself. I took the world by storm. I conquered it, surrendered to it, but have always rose again. I was the first to be home to 1 million people. I was the first to embrace a multicultural society. The first to create a network of roads which connected people and new ideas. I nurtured leaders and visionaries. I am a melting pot of cultures and beliefs. I hosted gatherings and major international events. I am known in the world for the richness of my cultural and scientific research. I have built wondrous technological and scientific hubs, and a solid and diversified production system. I am the cradle of the largest number of parks, natural reserves, and the biggest agricultural system in Europe. I am open-minded, inclusive, dynamic, and sustainable. Throughout the centuries, I have reinvented myself many, many times. My name is Roma, and I am ready to be reborn again.